What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's the end of 2023 and this is the last video of the year. Now, we've checked the box on a lot of things that we wanted to accomplish this year, but obviously there is one box left unchecked. So let's go back and take a look at everything that we've done this year and also talk a little bit about what we've got coming for 2024. Now, I want to start out by saying I hope you all had a great Christmas if you celebrate the holiday. I spent the weekend with some family, got a couple more Milwaukee tools as my kind of tool obsession is spiraling down a rabbit hole. But so at the start of this year, we started out with some issues with the transmission. Obviously, if you recall, we had broken bolts in both of the holes that we needed to mount the transmission in the car, so that was a nightmare. But once we got that sorted out, we were able to put the engine and trans combo together, get it dropped in the car, and then start sorting out all of the other things from wiring, coolant hoses, exhaust fabrication, turbo oil and coolant supply, and all that kind of stuff. But pretty much by the end of October, we had finished the build, quote unquote. Everything was more or less done from what I could tell to the best of my ability. You guys know that I've put my heart and soul into this thing over the last couple of years, and honestly I am just as surprised as you guys that it has taken this long. But at the end of October, we took the car to the tuner to have it dynoed, and we found a few problems. The main one being that the engine started with good oil pressure and eventually ended up with very poor oil pressure. We started, when we first got the car on the dyno, we were seeing numbers 60, 70, 80 PSI while the engine was running and while we were up in the revs and VTEC was actuating. But at some point we started to not have oil pressure anymore. So we got to the point where it was only making like 15 to 20 PSI of oil pressure, both at idle and, up in the revs. So yeah, that sucks. Obviously our first thought was, is it the rod bearings? Like, are the bearings on the crankshaft bad? And that would be obviously pretty catastrophic. It could be just, figure out which of the bearings is bad and replace it, but there's also the matter of if the wear on the crank and the bearings is bad enough, we would have to machine the crank all the way back down and then figure it out and run like different bearings. It would almost be more trouble than it's worth. It would almost just be easier to, since the engine's already out and torn apart and the car is just sitting at the shop, it would almost just be easier to go buy a new engine, take all of the fancy parts that I installed on the original one and transfer them over to the new engine. The car has been sitting at that shop for over 2 months. Yeah, it was October 23rd when I took it there to get dynoed. And then the dyno session was a whole, I don't want to get into it too much. Basically, I don't want to speak one way or the other about the folks at the shop. But I'm basically at their mercy at this point because I don't know how to diagnose issues of this severity on my own. I don't know what a good bearing versus a bad bearing looks like. We have already taken one of the caps off of one of the rods and looked at the bearings on one, and it has some wear, but it's not like obvious to the point of like, oh yeah, that's the issue, that's what's causing your low oil pressure. But so it could be the oil pump, it could be my oil sandwich plate that I'm using for the feed to my turbo. there's still quite a few things that that could be the problem, but I am waiting for the shop and constantly asking them about, hey, are you going to get to my car at this point? Like, are you gonna do that this week? Are you gonna, it's been tough. The last 2 months of just being 99% of, you know, at the finish line, oh, just needed to get dynoed and then we're good to go, to now it's been well over 2 months and we've made no progress. We've actually gone backwards with pulling the engine out of the car. But with that said, we are moving into the beginning of a new year, and that means a lot of new things to look forward to. Obviously, we have to finish the K-Swap BRZ. That's priority number one. That's gonna take, you know, that's top of the list. That's gonna be above anything else that I really have on the plate. At the moment, at the time of recording, we have 978 subscribers. So we're like 20 subs off of 1,000. So I'm guessing sometime in January, we're gonna hit 1,000, and that's gonna be like beyond insane. It's just crazy to think about how far we've come from when I started this channel to now. Obviously, I would have liked to, you know, be able to be making enough money to be able to do this full time, but that's not necessarily realistic. But anyway, we're super close to 1,000 subs. We've got the K-Swap BRZ to finish. I've also got a pretty exciting announcement to make near the start of the year, so there's definitely something to look forward to when it comes to that. So keep your eyes peeled out in January-ish. What else, man? It's been a long, hard year, and it's been a lot of grinding, a lot of work, and we're so close to the finish line. It's killing me that the car is not done yet, and that there's not really much of anything that I can do about it. But anyway, to end this video, I just want to say thank you guys so much for sticking around, watching the videos, liking the videos, sharing them. And I want to thank you guys for all of the comments that you've been leaving. As my channel has gotten bigger this year, I've started to see more engagement, and I really do enjoy seeing the comments that you guys you know, like put on the videos, and being able to respond to you guys and reply back, and basically just continue to sort of form this connection. Obviously with a channel of this size, like, it's a lot easier for me to engage with you guys, and the positive comments that you all have left this year have really been a major factor in what has kept me going and sort of pushing to not only finish the project, but also just to keep uploading the videos. I find myself being inspired by all of the feedback that you guys give me, and honestly, some very helpful suggestions in certain videos and certain comments. I know a lot of the guys who have done K-Swap BRZs, or who are also in the process of doing it, you know, either leave helpful suggestions or ask questions. And I try to answer as many of those technical questions as I can, because obviously I'm not an expert in engine swaps, but I have learned a lot about this specific engine swap, and so I try to help out where I can. So thank you all so much for everything that you guys have done for me this year. It's been an amazing year, really, up until the last couple of months when the engine had its issues at the dyno. So yeah, we are going to finish the build. We're gonna hit 1,000 subs, hopefully in January. And man, next year is gonna be a good one. I'm really optimistic about what all we have coming in the very near future, so make sure you stick around for that. As always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel, or tell your friends to subscribe. They might be the 1,000th subscriber. And I'll see you guys on the next one, and build your dreams.